Hey everyone, welcome back to another Alliance War video. I'm fighting for the Alliance X-Men, and we're matched up against SPBA. I think they're a routine Plat 1 alliance, so it should be a pretty good challenge. And we're making our debut in Tier 1 here, which is exactly where we want to be. We're in a good spot. We want to be able to sustain ourselves in this position for as long as possible, take advantage of that high multiplier. So it should be a good one. This is what we have ahead of us. We've got 6 fights. We're going to start off on Path 3 in Section 1. We're fighting a Cull and then a shared Symbiote Supreme. 2 pretty straightforward fights. And then we're going to hop over to a Mixmaster Aggression Prowess Korg. Hopping over to Path 2 in Section 2, where we have a Sorcerer Supreme with EMP mod, a Thor Ragnarok on Path 2, and then we're going to end off the war fighting a Black Widow Deadly Origins mini-boss on Boss Island. We're bringing in Omega Red at rank 3, Sig level 200. He's such a beast. He's going to take 4 of our fights this war, and tagging along, we're bringing in Human Torch. He's rank 3, Sig level 20, and he's going to take on the 2 Mystic fights we have along the way. And Sabretooth, good old trusty Sabretooth, he's bringing in that synergy to make our fights with Omega Red a little bit easier. Here we go. Fight 1, Node 15, Aggression Armor with Enhanced Armor up. We have Omega Red versus Cull Obsidian. This is a super straightforward fight, really low pressure. Really low threats, there's nothing really to worry about, so I'm just going to play it safe. There's no need to take unnecessary risks on my end, and I'll just let the spores do its thing. So here we go, first fight in the war. This should be a pretty good one to get my rhythm in. I'm going to try and lock in my spores here. This we're over 10, and he's just going to start to melt here. And it's just a matter of not getting hit and keeping up that degen up just to maximize my spore damage. Both the specials are super easy to evade. There's really no threat here. There's no reason why I should slip up and give up a death. Really low pressure fight. Super straightforward. There we go. That's the first fight done. Second fight here on node 20, so we have Strike Counter Fury, Armor, and Power Chain. Those last 2 nodes really don't care about. We're bringing in Human Torch here to fight Symbiote Supreme. Should be a really straightforward fight. Human Torch just absolutely mangles Mystics. I can stick to medium light combos with the odd heavy if I really want to play around the Strike Counter and then use my special 1 to reset the charges, but I don't think this is really going to play a factor. The fight should end fairly quickly if I'm doing everything right. So that's the plan. Get in, get out, let Torch do his thing against Mystics. And I'm going to start the fight with a heavy. And you can see my smolders are already at 2. They're just going to keep building, and he's already starting to melt. We got to Nova Flame, Nova Form really early, which is just great for us, just additional damage. And he's already halfway through, and we're 20 seconds into the fight. We have Nova Flame again. Just going to reset the charges, throw my SP1, may as well. And he's pretty much dead. Second fight in the books. Next up on node 23, we have a rank 3 Korg on Mixmaster Aggression Prowess and Power Focus 1. And this is the first time that I'm actually going to be taking this during a season war. Tried as best as possible to get as many reps in through the off season, and I should be pretty comfortable here. We're going to stick with medium light combos. I know that I need at least 6 spores to parry safely, maybe 7, and something I don't do a great job here is I have to pay attention to the icons and timers. And you're going to see that it's going to lead to a few mistakes with me not actually being fully focused on them. So I have a combat regen boost just to mitigate some of the block damage. Right off the bat, I screw up. I totally miss and take a heavy to the face. Second air. Waited too long to fire off my heavy, and he ended up parrying me because he had points and stand your ground. So 2 mistakes right off the bat, really not great. I'm struggling to find my rhythm on the fight here. Getting a few medium lights. I'm going to make a mistake here. I should have heavy to refresh the degen, and as a result, I'm losing my spores. He has an opportunity to throw his special 1. I'm losing even more spores, so I'll have to find a way to reset my rhythm. There's another mistake. He shrugged off my parry stun, wasn't paying attention to the amount of spores I had, and as a result I take a few hits. So I'm still struggling to get into the rhythm. You can see there's little spurts of it where I'm able to get parry, medium light, reset the cycle, but I just haven't settled down into the rhythm here. I'm going to make another error here, just not keeping track of my last used hit in my combo, and so he's able to evade. So he's at 10 spores now, and we're kind of getting into the rhythm here. You can see his health is starting to tick down. We have that degen up with 10 spores. Damage is okay, not as great as it should be. There we go, we're able to parry and reapply our degen to lock in a few of our spores. And I'm gonna make another mistake right here. Use my SP3 thinking that it would finish him and I'd leave the fight, but it's actually not enough. And it's gonna open the window for me to make one last mistake at the end of the fight here. Here we go, my punish is heavy, that's alright. Punish is heavy again. And once again, I wait too long to fire off my heavy. He fires off his special one, and I got really lucky here. I think if all three of those hits crit, I probably would have died. But thankfully, the only price I had to pay here is in potions. Fourth fight here on node 24. This is that shared mini on section 2 on the left side. It's got EMP modification, enhanced energy attacks, burden of might, rolling thunder. They place the sorcerer supreme, and we're going to bring in torch here using our pre-fight ability. Stick to medium light medium combos, and there's no real reason for me to trigger dex here unless I get cornered, and the odds of that happening I think are pretty low here. So here we go, we've activated the pre-fight, and we're just going to try and melt her down as fast as possible. Get our temperature up to 20, and now we just stick with medium light medium combos. Really low threat fight here. She's melting down super quickly. We may have to bait out one special, but look at that power stain damage. That took off a chunk of her life. There's no real need to dex here. I don't need to worry about chip damage. I'm not using him for any other fight, and she is pretty much down. 2 more fights to go. Next fight here on node 41, we have a Thor Ragnarok with strike counter, combat power rate, and matched up with stung once, twice shy. I've seen this fight trap people before, just because they fall behind with the combat power rate and they don't have a special to throw when Thor Ragnarok activates his power gain. So I just gotta be mindful of that. I think I had an advanced power boost about to expire, so I ended up using that just in case, just to be safe. But really, this is a low threat fight with Omega. You just have to slow play it. Let the spores kind of do its damage, and you should be able to finish this fight before 20 hits or just after, as long as you're able to do good work with your spores and make sure that degen's always applied and you lock them in at a fairly high level. And you can see he's pretty much already at halfway, and we're 30 seconds, like not even 30 seconds into the fight. So at this point, I'm feeling pretty good here. I have that special 2 ready to fire off in case I pass that 20 hit threshold. He's at 17. He's gonna gain power here, but this fight is pretty much over. And there you go. 27 hits. He's down. 1 more fight to go. Last fight of the war here on node 51. This is on the left side of Mini Boss Island. She's got Hurt Locker, Enhanced Special 1, Power Focus 1, Power Drain. Bringing in Omega Red to fight this Black Widow. Super straightforward, really low threat fight in my opinion. Let the spores do its thing. We'll delay our combos if we can to build as many spores as possible. And if I'm scared of her SP1, which I'm not really, I can turtle up and rely on reparrying just to discourage her from firing it off. So here we go. They're not running points limber, so it's pretty easy to get the fight started and lock in as many spores as possible. There we go. If I can parry here, I can lock it in. Unfortunately, I don't. So we're going to lose a little bit of spores, but that's okay. We still have her bleed up, and we're able to lock them in at 17, which isn't bad. We're just over 20 seconds in the fight, and she's halfway done. She can fire off her SP1, which is totally fine. I'm going to turtle up a little bit, and I'm taking a heavy to the face. I gotta stop doing that. It's a really bad habit of mine. I just lose focus for a split second and end up taking heavies to the face, but she's done. Like I said, it's a pretty low threat fight. So that's the end of the war. Unfortunately, I think we're picking up the loss here. We just made too many mistakes across the board and gave up too many deaths, which is unfortunate, but that is our first war in tier 1. There's a little bit we got to get cleaner just as an alliance in general. That's all good. We're going to keep improving, hopefully, and get back to tier 1 and hopefully sustain our spot there. For me personally, that was a really sloppy technical war. There's tons for me to work on, which is exciting, but I'm also pretty frustrated personally. Thanks for stopping by. We'll catch you at the next war.